Now, each week since the debut episode of Running It with Nate Sexton, you've heard us talk about our friends over at Fisher Disc Golf. Well, today, Nate and I are joined by a special guest. Levi from Fisher Disc Golf is with us, and we're here to announce a long-term partnership with Running It with Nate Sexton, as Fisher Disc Golf being our official retail sponsor of the show. Levi, man, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No, absolutely. Thank you for doing this. Nate and I are very excited about the opportunity of having Fisher Disc Golf be the official retail sponsor of the Running It with Nate Sexton show. You guys have been amazing so far, and we're just really excited to keep this thing rolling and be able to tell all of the listeners about new stuff that you guys have going on. And you guys have been gracious enough to give our listeners a little discount.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're super excited for the opportunity to extend the partnership and continue to support each other. We have a lot going on coming up. We do have our team starting up this year that'll consist of about 40 players, which we're really excited about. We're also, obviously, as you guys have said in previous episodes, sponsors of the Ledgestone Insurance Open for our second year, and super excited about that. We love to just support disc golf. We think, this podcast has been great and an awesome outlet for stories that people wouldn't be able to hear from, Nate and other pros throughout the episodes. So far it's been awesome. We've had nothing but great feedback, and we just hope to continue the growth in both sides. So.
Definitely appreciate you guys, because you guys jumped in with us, before we even had an episode recorded. You guys were first in line and really excited to support the show and support the effort, and just appreciate it. It's been really cool working with you.
No, it has. I'm very excited, and I speak for Adam as well. If you guys have watched the live streams, that we're excited to see where this goes, and really excited to hear the same quality content that you guys have already been doing, and hopefully that'll continue for longer than we can imagine. So.
And speaking of the live streams, that's kind of a unique thing that you guys do. And I've had two or three opportunities where I kind of popped in there and saw what it was going on, but kind of give our listeners, where did that idea come from? And is that something you saw somewhere else, or did you guys just come up with that?
Yeah, so actually it's just over a year now that from the first time that I ever ran a disc stacks. That was an idea that I actually got laid off from my full-time job with COVID. Just as like a small side hobby, I got back into just watching sports cards and trading cards. And I seen a couple people doing a version of what we do with disc stacks with trading cards, where they would have certain trading cards that had a sticker on the back that would win them, this premium collectible card. So I seen that, and it didn't hit me for about almost a month of kind of paying attention and watching that, even jumping in on some of them, that, hey, this could translate to disc golf. And with the, obvious growth of the sport, and with COVID, unfortunately, it did have a positive impact on disc golf, has brought out a lot more first timers. And what better way to get some disc in their hands to grow their bags. And a lot of people look over certain discs when they're in a shop or online, and this gives them, something new to try. And we've had a ton of people that get discs that come back and are so excited about something they got that they had thought about, or even just a backup of something they love to throw already. So it's been a really unique way just to get people to, try something new or something they would have looked over, and also give them a bonus opportunity to win some extra prizes. So.
Yeah, it's awesome. I stop in there just about you guys do it every Tuesday and Friday at 8, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep. We've only taken a few of those days off for obvious reasons. We took Christmas off. We will be back for New Year's to do one, which should be tonight. And yeah, it's a great way to try some new disc out. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, maybe it was last Fridays, I think I hopped in there and said, you know what? I've been on the sidelines long enough. I'm tired of watching all these people get a fun new disc. I'm going in and I'm buying a pull. And I did. And I actually just got my first disc from that, which was a Prodigy. I've never bought a Prodigy before, so I'm excited about seeing how it flies. And you guys got it to me fast. It was shipped beautifully. It came in perfect condition. You guys really do it right over there.
Thanks, man. That was an X4, right?
Yeah, really a good looking disc.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny how I just remember that sometimes. You see so many discs, showing them out like in and out of the stream. And, we were just talking the other day how many flight ratings I have memorized now. It's crazy.
Definitely an expert with 18 brands, man. I mean, you're handling everything that's out there pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. We've, everything from the big time retailers of Discraft and Innova to, some stuff that people haven't heard about with Yukon out of China, RPM out of New Zealand, stuff like that. So try to get a good, diverse, again, something for everybody. So.
Yeah, I don't think I could name 18 brands right now. And I've been playing this game a little while, so you'd think I might know, but I don't think I could just write down 18 brands. So I know you got some stuff.
For sure. I don't know if I could name them.
Well, we won't put either of you guys on the spot, but all of our listeners can be assured that there's 18 brands of plastic available at FisherDiscGolf.com. Other than discs, what else you guys have over there, Levi?
Oh, we got everything. I mean, another partner that has been with you guys too, Disc Dot. We just started carrying that. Great practice training tool. But we have, apparel from sweatshirts, sweatpants, T-shirts, bags, rosin bags, anything really that you could think of, from the simplest thing of a nice keychain lanyard to, a really nice Zuka cart. So all kinds of stuff.
Everything you need to disc golf, at least.
And more.
Well, that's awesome. And you guys got the Fisher Disc Golf team. Is that, you guys are local in Michigan? Is everybody on the team from Michigan, or are you guys spread out across the country?
No, we actually are across 20 states, everywhere from California, Texas, Florida, up the East Coast, but, a little bit bigger of a base in the Midwest.
Cool.
Well, I think it's been a wonderful partnership. It's worked out great for both of us. For everybody that's listening, you guys can visit the Fisher Disc Golf Facebook page. You guys are also on YouTube now doing the live streams as well, correct?
Yeah, we just started doing that within the last 2 weeks. Facebook only limits, a certain streaming quality, and YouTube has allowed us to be able to bring a better quality stream to everyone. So you can check us out on both, but if you're looking to pinpoint a disc, check out YouTube for a little bit sharper of an image.
Yeah, I can't lie. I definitely tried counting discs in that stack to try to figure it out. But then you start pulling them off, and then they go back on top. And I'm no Rain Man as far as that goes.
Yeah, we're pretty good with trying to get people what they want. I mean, if you're not right on, and you at least give us a color that sticks out that you're kind of eyeing, we'll work with you on getting the disc that you're looking at. So.
Yeah, so you guys head over to the Fisher Disc Golf Facebook page or YouTube page. Every Tuesday and Friday night at 8 p.m. they do the live disc stacks, and on top of winning discs, like Levi said, there's some of those discs have little stickers on the back where you can win more discs, where you could win some cool apparel, and sometimes you even put an additional pull in there where somebody can get an extra disc on top of that, correct?
Yeah, that's an every show thing. That's one of probably my favorite thing we do. Like you said, you're automatically getting a free disc out of the stacks, and you always have that chance of winning another chaser or item on the back of that one. So.
And now for those of you who can't catch the live stream on Tuesdays and Fridays, don't worry. Like we talked about, Fisher has you covered over on their website at FisherDiscGolf.com, where, Nate mentioned the 18 different brands of discs and some of the cool apparel and tools that Levi had mentioned. And Nate, if our listeners want to shoot over to FisherDiscGolf.com, how can they save themselves 10%?
Got to use that code RUNIT10.
That's right. Use code RUNIT10, and Levi and Adam and the crew over at Fisher will get your stuff out to you fast. Now, Levi, if I wanted to order a couple discs or something like that, how much are you going to charge me for shipping?
Absolutely nothing.
Nice.
I like
Free
that.
shipping always with us. or my favorite term, free 99.
That's right. Free shipping plus code RUNIT10. Everybody who's listening to this, you guys are disc golf fans. You're throwing discs, or you know somebody that is. Stop on the website, check it out, and again, save yourself 10% and get that free shipping. Well, Levi, again, we certainly look forward to having you come back on throughout time and tell us about new stuff that's going on at Fisher with the team and on the website. And I certainly appreciate everything that you guys have done for the show, and I know Nate does as well.
Yeah, thanks, Levi.
For sure. We appreciate you guys so much, and we look forward to a great year, and we look forward to coming back on. So thanks for having me, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, run it.
Run it.
Hello, disc golf fans, and Happy New Year, as we have yet another special holiday edition of Running It with Nate Sexton. I am your co-host, Jarett, or he is the man we've all come to hear once again, our host, Mr. Nate Sexton. Nate, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm great. I mean, the holidays are here upon us. I'm actually kind of jealous of the listeners because they're in 2021. I mean, that's a special place to be, I think.
Man, you just blew my mind. We're sitting here in 2020 and they're listening in 2021. I didn't even think about that.
They've got it good. I gotta hope they've got it good.
I'm sure they do. Well, we brought an awesome Christmas edition with Paul Ulibarri. The feedback was amazing. We had a lot of fun with him. Looking forward to getting him back on. And Nate, you did not disappoint the listeners for our first show of 2021.
Yeah, we're doing okay. We probably had the second most famous Paul on Christmas, Paul Ulibarri. And this time we've got a good friend of mine, the 5-time world champion. Really, if you listen to this show, you definitely know who this guy is. We got Paul McBeth joining the show. I'm really excited.
Paul, welcome.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Hey, dude.
And Happy New Year to you guys.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year.
How was all the holidays for you? You're in Virginia. You just got into a new house, didn't you?
Yeah, we just moved in about 2 weeks now, and we actually had snow on Christmas, but the snow never touched the ground. It fell from the sky, but never made it to the ground. So I guess that's considered somewhat of a white Christmas.
That's all right. Yeah, I saw a couple pictures of the dog out on the deck that Hannah was posting. It looked at least frosty, if not snowy. There was a little bit of freezing going on.
Definitely, but yeah, the holidays went well, and I hope it went well for you too as well.
Yeah, we definitely had a good time. I mean, Coraline now being 3.5. It's like, I don't know. It's like peak. I feel like it's getting close to peak excitement. I mean, I think it lasts a few years, but she's just so into it, and the magic of, she got up on Christmas morning, and we were talking to her about, because she kept asking us, is she going to hear the sleigh bells? Is she going to hear the reindeer on the roof? We're like, I don't know, maybe. It happens pretty late at night. And she got up like, I heard them. I heard the bells. I heard them on the roof. I heard it all. She was like so happy. And then obviously there's all the presents and stockings. And so she was just living it up for sure.
And also showing you that she's not afraid to tell a fib.
Well, I mean, when you believe something hard enough, I feel like, maybe she did hear those bells. I'm not sure.
I think I was one of the select few to get a Christmas card.
Yeah, you got a Christmas card. We had quite a few. We got those out to everybody, everyone we could anyway. But yeah, that's fun. It's kind of cool. It's like one of those things when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, whatever, Christmas cards. And now that I'm older, it's like I like getting cards from people and just seeing the pictures of people's families, friends that you don't get to connect with as much as you might have. Like obviously when you're kids, you see somebody all the time if it's a friend of yours. But I'm finding as I age, I'm appreciating those Christmas cards more and more.
Oh yeah. Yours is on display here at our house. So.
Oh yeah. Glad to hear.
I don't know how you got our new address, but you did.
Gonna have to move again to dodge the card, man. That's crazy. How close is this place to your old place?
About 30 minutes. It's a nice drive though. It's almost on one highway, so it's a good cruise.
Nice.
But,
yeah.
Yeah. Now that we're talking, I dropped the baskets in on my course at home. It's nowhere near ready, but I dropped the baskets. So
when?
Step in the right direction. Saturday.
Sweet, dude. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's your old property, your first Virginia property is where you've got the acreage and you're putting the course in, right?
correct. Yeah,
That's
so
pretty exciting.
yeah, I might sneak out there tomorrow and throw in some baskets for the first. Throw to some baskets for the first time since owning that piece of land.
Do you already have like a course name figured out?
Yeah, I do, but I haven't said publicly yet
Oh, that's
because I
fair.
think I
Well, you
want.
don't need to break that news here. I get that. You got to have the big grand opening.
Exactly.
That's cool.
So, as you guys are both talking about Christmas, how neat was it that disc golf was featured on ESPN Christmas Day, Christmas night almost? I mean, when I was a kid, it was Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, or as I got a little older, it was, LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. And this year, it was disc golf on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool that rebroadcast at that time. I mean, I think Christmas evening, you sort of think, oh, maybe that's not a great TV time, but I feel like it is in a way. It's like, families are together, things are kind of winding down. Maybe somebody flips on the TV or they're watching football already. And it's just when eyes happen to catch us, that's awesome. And, I think I saw Shannon Sharp tweeted, and didn't you respond to him, Paul, about getting him out there on the course?
Yeah, no, I responded to him. I've tweeted to him back in the day. I've gotten some responses from him before, so to not get a response to this disc golf one was kind of heartbreaking. But maybe he'll come around to it. Yeah, it was nice to see. Some people were catching some significant people were catching the rebroadcasting of the DGPT final. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, I didn't even put that together that he's like a Bronco, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I've watched him since I was, oh man, really young, real young. So yeah, I've been a Broncos fan for my whole life. So gotta see Sharp in his prime.
Sweet. Yeah, that's cool. That's even one more layer. I was thinking, oh, that's cool that he
Mhm.
tweeted to him, but I forgot that he spent a lot of time with the Broncos, or maybe his whole career. I don't even know.
For the best parts of his career, yeah, I think he
Cool.
finished up in Baltimore.
Cool.
So, how does a kid from Huntington Beach, California, become a Broncos fan?
My dad lived in Denver for a brief bit, so he kind of brought that back with him when he was raising us. So he was the one that took us to the football games. But it's funny because my brothers and I became Broncos fans because of my dad, but my mom, well, most of my family is either Rams or Raiders fans because both were in LA. So there's some rivalries there.
Nice.
Yeah, the Rams left and came back, and now the Raiders are playing in Vegas.
Yeah, and a lot of my family's happy because Vegas is like a $30 flight from LA. So
Oh, nice. So you can maybe catch a
yeah,
game. That's cool.
yeah, it's a lot easier now.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm a Giants fan, and that's simply because I have an older brother who was a huge torment to me as a child, and we grew up in Philadelphia, and he's a diehard Eagles fan. So when I was about 5, I realized how much he hated the Giants, so I became a Giants fan, and here I am all these years later.
That's a good reason. That's a good one. But Nate, I don't think you're a football fan too much, are you?
I mean, I like watching games for sure, but pro football, I mean, being from Oregon, we don't have like a super close team. Obviously, I like the Seahawks all right now that I'm a Washington guy, and even before, if I had to pick a team, Seahawks are high on the list, and then also Buffalo Bills. I think I mentioned that to Jarett before. Jarett lives in Buffalo, so and I have family from there, so I definitely had like Buffalo Bills gear getting sent to me when I was a kid. So that's probably my number one and my number two if I had to choose, but especially now that I don't have a fantasy football team, I'm not following as close as I have in the years past.
Oh, well, this is the time you should be following right now. Both are
I
looking
know they're
good this
good.
year.
I mean, I'm following enough to know they're good. I know the
Yeah.
Seahawks won, yeah. So yeah, but I'm not like blocking out time to watch games necessarily.
Paul, are you a fantasy football player?
No, I've never gotten into it. I just don't feel like I have time to dedicate as much as I would want to be into it. I follow a lot of players. I know a lot of players that are really good, but I just don't think I would maintain it. So I've never gotten into it.
Yeah, I just read Aaron Rodgers, huge disc golf fan. I don't know if either of you guys knew that, but Aaron Rodgers, quarterback from the Packers, loves playing disc golf, and it's well documented.
I did know that. Not that we've ever crossed paths or anything, but I had heard that he's definitely out there throwing.
Yeah, yeah. I've known that. I believe his younger brother. I think it's a whole family thing for the Rodgers. So that's really cool. But no, I haven't had the chance to run into him or play. But I know Ricky took a picture with him once at like some health store.
Nice. Just happened to find him. Sweet.
Yep.
Who do you think asked who for the picture?
I'm gonna say that Rick asked, but that's a big leap. I know. Rodgers is probably a huge Rick fan. He probably sees the Jomez every week, but he might have some other stuff on his plate as well, preparing for his next competition.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, I gotta hear a little bit more about how you're liking the new car.
Oh, the new car. It's a lot of fun. I haven't taken it out a whole lot, which was pretty much anticipated getting it.
Yeah.
Just having that vehicle, it's definitely like a perfect day type of car, I feel like.
Sure.
But no, it's been a lot of fun. I feel like anytime someone comes and visits, I have a reason to take the car out. So
yeah.
So I'm enjoying it. I haven't had a chance to drive with the top down yet. We haven't had a warm enough day since I've gotten it. And I think it's probably in for the winter now. If it does start to snow, and we do get snow, I don't want any salt touching that thing. So
Sure.
Just sitting pretty right now, but it is a lot of fun. And my first ever time. I mean, the first time I drove it, I mean, it was screaming at me all sorts of buttons. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I think I broke it. The first time I took it out of my driveway, it just kept beeping and yelling at me.
And why?
Apparently, I left the parking sensor on. So anytime I would pass something, it'd start beeping at me because it thought I was, parking.
Okay.
So it took me a little bit to figure that. And after that, then it was smooth sailing. So, but no, I'm loving it. Sometimes I just pull it out of the garage just to see it. But my favorite thing is it's parked in the garage, and every time I would go to practice putt, I'd have to walk by it. So I'd see it, and it was just like motivation. It was like the biggest trophy I've ever won. So I just see it, and I'm like, all right, I need to go make these putts because I have to make myself feel like I truly earned this and continue earning it. So
nice.
It's been a big motivator more than anything.
That's never been a problem you've had, man. You can turn anything into motivation, I feel like. In my time, I mean, we've spent a lot of time together, but it could be somebody throwing shade, or it could be something like this where you made a big achievement. Either way, you always use it to fuel you, and I think that's served you well.
Yeah, you're probably going to talk about how I missed a putt sometime at some big tournament, and I'm going to be all mad after this interview and go putt some more in the basement. So.
I'm not going to do you like that. I don't have any big misses queued up for. I wasn't. My brain doesn't go there. When I think about my time that I spent with you, it's mostly makes that come into my head. I don't think about a lot of misses.
Yeah. We toured at a good time, and that was no, it was. I listened to the Ulibarri podcast, so I know our time in the RV is going to come up in this conversation.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about it. I mean,
it is.
It was good. It was good times. I mean, I've said this before too, but like, I kind of got to say it every time now that we don't. When we get in the same place in a media context. But man, Paul extending the offer to me to come and tour in that RV, like that was sort of like a career maker for me. Like I don't know if I ever would have taken the leap, to be out there and be a full-time player. And it's like, without a doubt, Paul, you're the most successful disc golf player there's ever been. But I'm probably in the top 10 or maybe even the top 5. I don't even know. And it's like so much of that hinges on the fact that you like extended that ladder down to me, to say, hey man, try it up here. It's pretty nice. And yeah, man, it's like, I can never thank you enough for having me in there and kind of exposing me to that tour lifestyle. And that's like what made my brand and allowed me to build my skills to the point where I was able to kind of make this into a career, full time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been an honor to, to travel with you and see that you made the most out of it. You could have just rode around and just kind of played tournaments, but you're here now. You're hosting a podcast. You're always on Jomez. You're on more Jomez than I am. You're all over. I mean, you've gone above and beyond, any expectations that I'm sure I don't know.
Sure.
But it's been incredible. And yeah, I'm honored to be able to travel with you and be on the tour with you, because it definitely opened my mind and my eyes up to this side of it. Having to be open and talking on these podcasts, on these interviews, and yeah, you were extremely helpful with all of that. So
I remember not letting you rest too much when we got those McBeast Challenges going. I remember we were running these tournaments called McBeast Challenges. At first they were just called McBeast Challenges, and after a little while, it was kind of like featuring Nate Sexton, which I felt pretty good about. But it was a thing we were doing, and I still do something similar to it with Sexton shootouts when there's no COVID around. But it was a tournament where we would give 2 discs to the players. They'd bring their own putter. We'd play 1 round. We'd have a clinic, all this stuff. But at that time, Paul's at that time and every time that we've ever been playing disc golf, Paul's contract was just a hair sweeter than mine. So I was like a little more motivated to like, hey man, let's add another stop. Let's add another stop. Because, Paul was generous enough to split the profits on that with me, So I was like putting in the work to plan them, kind of in return for not really being the star power and the draw. And I was kind of doing the heavy lifting on the clinic as well, because that's kind of my forte. But yeah, I can definitely remember like Paul going, "Oh man, do we have to do another one?" I'd be like, "Yo, can we please? Can we go and hit this city, just to keep us busy and keep making money while we were out there."
Yeah, and it was mainly because I had to do those clinics over and over and over and over. I'm just not a fan of doing clinics.
Yeah, man.
And that was your thing. You taught for at Oregon State for a little bit.
Yeah.
You taught disc golf, so you got used to it. And I was just like, man, I just want to play. I don't want to teach.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was the biggest pain in the butt for me, was doing the clinics and stuff. I didn't mind driving to these events and doing all that. And I wouldn't call myself a greedy person, because I felt like I was like, yeah, take all the money you want, Nate. As long as you're doing it all, take it all.
Yeah, no, I never would have thought that at all. I thought it was pretty generous to offer me 50-50 on a tournament that had your name across it and your face huge on the flyer and all that. So yeah, that was big for me for sure, to be able to work on those with you. And then, obviously that became for me like the basis for my Sexton shootout events, which is the exact same thing, just under a different name. And that was huge for me and Bree too. And once we had our own RV and we were out there doing it. So those were fun times for sure. Just remembering all those times traveling around and all the different places. And as long as your allergies were under control, we had a pretty good time. I remember a couple times where you kind of laid up, especially up in the Northwest when the allergies were hitting you hard, but most of the time we were good.
Yeah, I haven't been up there since.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, you were definitely down and out.
Yeah, but hopefully I got that under control. So we'll see. I think 2021 will be the year I get to go back up to Oregon.
Let's go.
Got a lot of questions about that actually too. When are we going to see Paul back up in the Pacific Northwest? So there we go.
2021. Let's do it.
2021. That's the goal. COVID pending.
Yep.
That's the goal, is to get up there. I definitely want to play the Portland Open again, because I haven't played there since Worlds, I think, at Blue Lake.
Yeah.
And then Milo. I think Milo is one of the most beautiful places. The course isn't in my top 5, but the Oregon is just so pretty in the summer.
It'll be fun.
Must make soon. And maybe even stop up in Washington for a little bit. We'll see.
Hey, man, come by the house. We'll have a good time.
So, Paul, we know what you're doing with that sweet, sweet Discraft money, but one of the things that we've talked about with all our guests was when you got your first big contract in disc golf, was there something that you went out and bought a lot of or kind of splurged on? Now, Big Germ was flat brim hats. He bought one at every stop that he could get at. Yuli went and bought himself a car that he's still driving to this day. When you got that first Innova, when you started making that money, was there something that you finally said, now I can go out and buy this or more of these?
I think I started paying rent. I think that was my first thing. I started paying rent on the house that I grew up in. So I think that was the first thing I started spending my money on. I was spending it on my family and back home. But I know I'm thinking way, way, way back to like right before my first Worlds. And I definitely bought a vehicle to tour in, but I didn't keep it as long as Ulibarri. I think I maybe got 70,000 miles on mine before I got rid of it. But yeah, if I was to say what I spend most of my money on, it's probably vehicles.
Yeah, this dude's not really a stranger to a fast car. I mean, this newest one is for sure the fastest car,
Uh-huh.
but it comes from a proud line of fast cars.
Yeah, so that's definitely. I mean, I think that's where I spent my money. I spent my money on is because I grew up and I had so many bad vehicles growing up. Yeah, they did not last long. So I feel like now I have the opportunity to finally get cars that aren't going to break down on me while I have them. So
Now your cars yell at you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, now they're telling me to be too cautious, but that's probably where I waste most of my money is on cars.
The thing I think about, man, is like I feel like I'll often joke that I kind of got to having a career in disc golf by accident, and that I was just sort of like trying to have fun and play disc golf,
Mhm.
and got better at it and better at it and better at it, and started playing tournaments and winning tournaments, winning a little bit of money. But it was never like, oh, I can see the future, and someday I'll be able to have this signature disc and go this far with it. And I'm curious for you. I can't imagine you could see it coming as big as it has here, but I know you're like, as long as I've known you, you've always been like a big picture guy and sort of like a forward thinking, like planning your moves out ahead. So I wonder, like, how does it feel now to be able to have been, to be in a spot from disc golf that's allowed you to take good care of your family at home, your grandpa, your mom, and everybody that needs, if they need help. And how much of that did you feel like you were on the path to, and how much of it is like sort of like a crazy surprise to you? Or do you kind of feel like this was the plan and now you're here?
I think the big picture, I feel like this was always the plan. I mean, I never put a money number to it for a long time. I think it was just like, hey, keep getting better, and as you start to win, it's going to eventually add up. It's going to continue to roll, kind of like a snowman. You're just going to keep rolling it. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. So, what's funny is when we were moving into this new house, I found some of my really old notebooks. And in my notebooks, I would just always write stuff down. I'd always write stuff like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I would write down potential contracts that I wanted. And I think 2014 was the first year I wrote in there. I was like, I'm gonna get $1 million contract. Like this is my value. This is what I'm worth. This is how it's gonna happen. And I mean, McBeast Challenges, like we mentioned earlier, were a huge part of that because I mean, a company that's a dream come true for a manufacturer that, oh, these players want to do that, do this, do that. But big picture, I've always thought like I want to be a pioneer in disc golf. We had Climo, we had Schultz, we had Rico, we had all these people, but I want to do more than them. Climo's won 12 championships. I want to win 13 championships or more, but I know I can do more than just win. So being able to be in the position to work out a lot of these contracts for not only myself but see other players start to get these good deals that I think the picture's still bigger than where it is now, but I've always thought that I would be in this position and just knew I just had to work for it.
That's awesome. I'm definitely smiling ear to ear just hearing you say it. That's cool, man. It's definitely been amazing to see, and I couldn't be happier for you. And just what you've been able to accomplish in a game that, I'm sure. I mean, it's just still growing so fast. It's crazy. Like if you told like 12-year-old you that you might be able to get to this place, I think he probably would have had a good laugh and ran back to the baseball field.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I still like to get out to that baseball field if possible. Go back to that 12-year-old me to where I can just go have fun, not think about anything,
For
just go out there
sure.
and have fun.
So, Paul, I mean, obviously, you don't have to get too far into it, but what was the moment when you realized, yeah, I'm a disc golfer? I mean, was there a tournament or a certain time where you just realized, yep, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm pretty darn good at it?
Yeah, there was. I mean, I think there was two moments of that. In 2009, I think I was playing baseball. Was I playing? Was it 2009? Well, 2009, I went out to Kansas City Worlds, and I drove out there with my buddy Tommy, and we bought this. I bought this car for like $600, and I was like, "All right, Tommy, we're gonna go to the World Championships in Kansas City." and let's just do it. Like, let's go. And I remember him and I drove 24 hours straight to get there, played the tournament. I didn't do that well, but I think I was still top 20, maybe top 35 for sure. But I was playing baseball at the time, so I was kind of like, it is what it is, you know. Then we drove back. That car blew a head gasket, but 2 miles from our house, so we made it back. And then 2010, I was still playing baseball, and a little bit more serious into the baseball. And I told my coach, like, hey, I'm gonna play this season, but I need to take this week off. And it was in Crown Point, Indiana, and flew out there, played this tournament without playing much disc golf throughout the year, because it was pretty much the spring was baseball, and then I think we were getting into like just before playoffs or something, and I went out there to play this tournament, took 11th, and that was kind of the moment where I was like, man, I just took 11th at this tournament and I wasn't practicing disc golf at all. I was just getting into shape, working on my body, and just like reflexes and all that stuff, and just working for baseball. That I was able to do that and take 11th, and that was the moment I was like, why am I like fighting so hard for this baseball when I have disc golf right here? I took 11th after not playing at all. Imagine if I took all this time I was playing baseball and put that work ethic into disc golf. And that was kind of like the switch that turned on. I was like, all right, I can get paid for doing this baseball and putting money into it, you know, with all this traveling on my own. I was like, this is where I'm gonna make that commitment, because I know if I do this, I can win. I mean, I'm 10 people away from being in first at the biggest tournament of the year. So that was really the turning point for me. And then you know, a couple months later, I won the Memorial. So my first NT, and I think that's where it really took off for me.
Wow. Yeah. I can remember you at, was it 2008 USDGC, or when was that?
2008 was my first one.
Yeah, and you did like pretty well, right? Like you were up on lead card or something.
Yeah, so 2008, yeah, I was on the lead card. It was Avery, Climo, and Doss, and then me.
I mean, and if that tells you all you need to know, like, you know, you hadn't even been playing but 3-4 years maybe at that point, and you were still probably like not even 20.
No, in 2008 I was 18.
Yeah, and there you are in the lead card. I can remember like talking in the hotel room and being like, oh, whoever this kid is, I mean, he can't keep this up. Like, I don't know. I can sort of remember like being aware of like, who's this kid on the lead card? That doesn't make any sense. And I was still basically a kid myself then. But, you know, how wrong we were. We were just, I can remember thinking like, yeah, who is this guy? What does he think he's doing on the lead card? I've never seen this guy before.
Yeah.
I mean, I had seen you before, but not at that stage.
No, we saw each other a long time ago before that.
Yeah.
Way back in 2005.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that in one of the other episodes, didn't we, Jarett? About me being the first pro Paul ever met. We told that story a little bit, I think.
Yeah, you started to get into it a little bit. I'd like to hear a little more.
Let's hear Paul's side of it, because I've told my side a little bit.
Yeah, way back in 2005. It was my first ever tournament, which your last guest, Paul Uliberry, his first tournament as well. But it was my first ever tournament. I was coming from Huntington Beach, and the amateur junior world championships happened to be in Flagstaff, Arizona, which was about, I think, anywhere between 5 to 7 hours. And I had some good friends in disc golf at that time, and I remember they took me out there. I was 15 at the time, and it was my first tournament, so I didn't have a rating. So they didn't really know, because back then I don't know how they did it, but it had to go by rating. So I didn't have a rating, so they ended up putting me with 2 other junior girls, and one of those girls was Kristara Lee, and then the other one was this girl named Brianna Anderson Gregg. And Brianna Anderson had her boyfriend there caddying for her, watching, and he introduced himself as this professional Nathan Sexton. So he was technically the first pro that I had ever met outside of my in Huntington Beach. So that's kind of how I got introduced to him. And it was back when he had the big hair too. I remember he had the big hair. Yeah, I was kind of blown away because I didn't know about professional disc golf too much, but he said he was I don't know if you said you were a touring pro, but he definitely said he was a professional, and I was like, oh, okay. All right. I think that was the first time I actually knew that there was a professional disc golf.
Yeah, definitely not touring, but I'm sure I was definitely walking tall that week because I was like at the Am Worlds, but I was like just had turned pro. So I was very like, oh, hey guys, like, I mean, I'm not playing. You understand. I'm a pro.
So that was the first time I ever met Nate. I don't think I saw you again after that because I moved up from that card. Yeah, Nate was the first person I met, and now it's Brianna Sexton. So.
Yep. Pretty funny. And I think
yeah.
I'm starting to realize where I went wrong. If Yuli and you both just kind of made your first tournament of your life was the World Championships, that's maybe where I messed up. I was doing these non-sanctioned local park tournaments. I should have just jumped in with 2 feet straight to the World Championships and then see where that leads you.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, that field was so stacked back then, too, because we were all 60 and under. I mean, it had me, Ulibarri, James Conrad, Devin Owens, and some other notable names. I know Chandler Fry was out there. So there was some, I mean, it's playing against the same people still.
Yep.
Yeah, that is that's pretty crazy. All those names in one tournament, and people are sitting there watching, and you got Nate Sexton caddying. I mean, there's got to be footage of that somewhere. I mean, that's like a gem in the disc golf fan world, I would imagine.
I think people that follow disc golf now, you would not believe how few cameras there used to be. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there literally isn't footage of that.
Yeah, definitely not of our card. That's for sure.
Yeah,
but the card that we met on.
It's so and that was 2005, and Jomez didn't even start till 2012, 2013. Yep, 2012. Yeah, so we're talking.
It was 2012
before even
Pro
that.
World.
Yeah, and which I think Paul's first World Championship, and if you watch Jomez, you kind of got a sense for this, but that final 9. I think Jonathan Gomez was the only guy filming, and he was just filming because he wanted to. It wasn't like a contracted thing or he had the rights to film. He was just there, and if he wasn't there, there would be no video of that, right, Paul?
Yep, I think he was playing the amateur side, and he just happened to have his camera with him, and he asked if anyone was filming. They said nope, and he just hopped on it, and that's the first ever Jomez production video.
And otherwise, there would be no video of Paul McBeth's first world title. So crazy to me, thinking about how many cameras will be there in 2021 when you're chasing down that 6th world title. When me and you are squaring off with 2 holes to go, how many cameras are going to be? 35? Probably closer to 35 than 1.
At least 35.
It's pretty crazy how it's changed.
Yeah. Now that you think about it, 2005 had probably 1 handheld camera.
Somebody's dad that was into cameras.
Yeah, probably having to roll the camera and stuff. So,
talking about being in the right place at the right time. Jonathan Gomez there with his camera and being the only person there. And now Jomez has grown into what it is. I mean, wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's incredible to see and think about, because I know the first video that I was on, I think, was 2007 Amateur Worlds, and it was a final 9, and that was filmed by Terry Miller.
Nice.
Or he was the host of the World. I shouldn't say he was behind the camera. He might not have been the disc golf guy yet.
He was the TD or something, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I there's definitely video out there of me competing in the 2004 Amateur World Final, and you can get a sense for the big hair Paul's talking about if you dig deep enough on YouTube and find that.
That was outside the U.S., right?
No, that was 2003 in Canada. I don't think there's any video of that. That was juniors, and then 2004 was Des Moines, and that was I took 4th in just the amateurs in the advanced. So I had made it to the final 9, and they did have video of that.
Was that your last amateur tournament?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it was in Canada, I know you won.
Canada, not many people can touch me in Canada. Some great guys, some great names have tried.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got some wins up there, and Paul, you got close to a win there, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to take Nate's thunder and be a U.S. world and Canadian champion all at once, but came up short.
If my memory serves, Paul, the baskets were not kind to Paul that day, the final day. I seem
No,
to
that was
remember
frustrating.
I felt like there was two pretty serious spit outs, which might have made some of the difference.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was going all out that round. Nate had a pretty significant lead. I think, and I was being very aggressive, and I had two putts come pretty far backwards, straight out of the basket, and that kind of. I feel like that kind of took the momentum away from me making a really good run. After that, it was too far away. But
Yeah.
it could have been exciting coming down the stretch if those stuck and didn't roll away.
What I remember about the end is like maybe 6 holes to go. I had like kind of a huge lead, like 7 or 8. And I remember going up to you and being like, if I birdie this, you're done. Like obviously joking around, but then I wouldn't birdie it and you would. And the next hole, if I birdie this, you're done. And then I miss again and miss again, miss again. And I had enough, luckily, but you made it interesting as you could, even though I was up 7 or 8 with 6 to play. I don't think I won by more than like 2. So I definitely was starting to feel the nerves by the 18th when I kept joking like, oh, I'll birdie this one and then it's over. But then I would just keep hitting trees.
Yeah, yeah. I think you and I on our 1-1 in hurricane tournament. So.
Oh yeah, sure. With also the GBO, is that the one you're thinking of?
No, USDGC.
Oh, sure. There's
Yeah.
also that GBO that we took 1-2 that the last round got canceled. That might have been like the last tournament I was in the RV with you. I think
Yeah.
it might have been 2017. You won, I got second, and the final round was canceled.
And I remember anytime tournaments got canceled and you were in a good position, you'd just be like, "No, I'm happy with this."
Yeah, cancel
Right.
it. Yeah. I wasn't that worried about it. I was like, cool, second. Yeah, what do you want me to go out there and catch 2 or 3 strokes in like a driving rainstorm with lightning? Nah, I'm good.
And I was like, "It's second place is saying that. Sure, I'm in."
I got to ask you guys: was there ever any awkward rides home in the RV after a tournament? I mean, you guys are both so competitive, and you guys are always in the running. It seems. Was there ever any time it spoiled over into the ride home, and there wasn't much said for the first few hours of the ride?
I really don't think so. And we've talked about this a couple times publicly before, but like I really can't even remember. I mean, we spent about 2.5 seasons in that RV, and I really can't even remember a time when we argued. Like we definitely had moments where it's like, shut up, like, I don't want to drive all night or whatever it is. But
that was the most common thing.
yeah.
I love driving through the night, and Nate would, because we were in the truck, so it wasn't like an RV to where you could just walk back and sleep.
Yeah.
You had to park because the way that it closes up, you can't drive the truck and have someone sleep in the fifth wheel. So that was Nate's thing, is he'd always want to sleep at night, and I'd just want to keep driving. And that was probably the only thing that ever frustrated me on the road. But we never fought about it. It was kind of just like, all right, we'll pull over, sleep, and get up early.
Or sometimes we just drove, and I would be like, dude, what good does it do us to pull in at 2:30 a.m.? Like, what? How does that help anyone? It just makes us so we can't wake up the next day. But yeah, that was about as close as it ever got, because that was kind of my side of it, and he'd just be like, man, we're on the road, let's just do it.
Yeah. And as far as competitive side, I think Nate and I are both very good at, we don't take back our negatives from the course. Like we never I would never get mad about something that happened on the course and take it out and talk to Nate about it. Nate wouldn't do it, the other way. So we never really had any issues. That's one of I think the most annoying things on tour is when people tell you about their whole round and how every single bad thing happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just kind of like that. You didn't get 7 spit outs. I'm sorry. I don't believe you when people tell you that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, I think something that would surprise people about Paul McBeth is that despite being super serious competitor and so driven and so successful, he's pretty chill. Like I remember that Memorial, which you ended up eventually losing in a playoff, but your bag got stolen right before the tournament. And I kind of expected you to be like a little on edge that morning and like, God, I can't believe this. And you just got all new discs and you were just laughing and joking like normal. I was kind of like, okay. And then you went out there and tied the thing and lost in a playoff. So not a guy that lets a bad break bug him too much.
No, that's true. I remember that, and I always, I have a truck right now, and I tell Hannah all the time. I was like, it annoys me to have a truck, and I don't know why. And it goes back to my bag being stolen because anytime I have something in the back of the truck, I have to move it. Anytime I park, I'm like, can't be back there. It's gonna get stolen.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it goes back to that. And that's I never thought of like why do I hate having this truck and having stuff in the back because of that. It all makes sense.
The Paul McBeth disc market's pretty strong. Have you ever checked to see if anybody was out there slinging those discs to catch the guy that stole your bag?
I don't remember what discs were in there. There's only one disc. There was only one disc that I felt like, oh man, that one's not replaceable. Every other one was replaceable, so I wasn't really upset about it because it was just a mistake of leaving the bag in the back of the truck, and I always put it in the truck, and it just happened to be the one time I didn't. But it was like one of the first ever Rock 3s that was made, the Champion Rock 3s. So that's the one that I was bummed out for the longest time because it was kind of special. It was one of the first ones. But other than that, I don't remember anything about the bag. I don't even remember what color it was.
Short memory.
Wow. Do you guys write your names and numbers on the inside of your discs even now? Still, when you're out playing around, is it going to say Paul McBeth and your phone number in there?
Definitely not my phone number, and to be honest, I wouldn't even write my name on it if I didn't have to for PDJ rules purposes. So if I lose a disc, I kind of expect it to be gone because it just has my signature on it. But one funny thing I saw on Reddit was someone said, "Look at this beginner who writes his name on a disc and just doesn't put his phone number," and it was a Nate Sexton disc.
I think they were making a joke at my expense, but yeah, that was true. I don't put my number on there either, though. I did just get a cool Christmas present. Bree gave me a rubber stamp of my logo, so now I just got to get the appropriate ink, and I might not have to put Sharpie on them anymore. I can just rubber stamp a logo on the bottom, and that means it's mine.
There you go. Yep. No, it's smart. My brother did that too with his. So it's not a logo, but just his name.
Yeah.
Seems way easier than having to carry a Sharpie around all the time.
And it looks cooler.
Yeah, I've never had a disc returned, so just a heads up, Nate. I've got your name and phone number inside all my discs now. So, Now, each week we play a fun game here on Running It with Nate Sexton, and it's You or Nate. And that's where I sit down with our guest and I ask them a couple fun questions, and they answer, would that be you or Nate?
A couple fun topics for us to debate. It's time to play. It's You or Nate.
But this week, for a special New Year's edition, I've arranged something for our listeners. So welcome to the show, Mrs. Brianna Sexton and Mrs. Hannah McBeth. How are you, ladies?
Great. How are you?
Doing well, Jarett.
I'm super excited about this. It's not often that we get an opportunity to kind of switch it up a little bit. So I'm sure Nate and Paul are both sweating wherever they are right now, and you know what, they should be, because we're gonna have some fun playing a special edition. So we're gonna do two separate games here, ladies. So Hannah, I'm gonna play You or Paul, and Bree, I'm going to play You or Nate, and then I'm going to kick it over to both of you guys, and we're going to play a little edition of Paul or Nate. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
That sounds fun.
Okay, cool. So we're going to start with, I'm going to ask a question, and then Hannah, you're going to answer the same question, whether it would be you or Paul, and then Bree will kick it over to you, and you'll answer, would it be you or Nate? So the first one is, you or your husband, who's more likely to fall asleep in the middle of a movie?
That would be Paul McBeth.
That would definitely be me. Nate calls it the sleep cliff. And he looks over at me, he's like, you're about to fall off the sleep cliff, huh? And I say, most definitely.
The sleep cliff. I love that. My kids laugh at me because I fall asleep in the movie theater, so don't feel bad.
I fall asleep during movies because I'm too busy asking questions about the movie.
I fell asleep in the theaters on one of the Lord of the Rings ones because it was like
what?
It was like a midnight showing and I was really tired.
Oh, Bree.
You or your husband, who gets control of the remote?
Me.
Oh, I try to be nice and let him, but
Can't relate.
mostly it's just a mind game, and I get to decide at the end.
Who's the pickier eater, or who has a harder time deciding where or what you guys are going to eat?
He always asks me what to eat, and I never know because I feel like that's a woman thing, and that's just, I never know what I want. So he'll suggest something, and I know what I don't want, but I'm really bad at finding what I want. So I guess I'm the more difficult one. He would always just say Chipotle.
For us, this is honestly a common point of contention where we actually get mad at each other for making the other one choose what we're gonna eat.
Same.
And Nate's always saying I'm just being nice and letting you choose, and I'm like, no, you just don't want to have to make the decision. And, so I'm gonna say we're pretty equal on that one.
Okay, fair enough. Who snores louder?
Paul. I don't at all. I talk in my sleep, and it's really creepy. But I'm a motivational sleep talker.
There's a YouTube video for the channel.
Oh, God.
You do need, Paul needs to capture that on video.
Yeah, it's actually really embarrassing, Brie. I don't know if we need to capture that on video.
I think we do, actually.
Oh, my gosh. Oh boy.
Nate and I don't snore on the regular, but I even remember back to when we were dating, Nate just breathes so loud. Sometimes I'm sitting there and I think, how are you making that much noise just living? I'm making no noise. So he's a bit of a mouth breather.
Okay, we'll accept that. That works. Who spends more money out shopping?
Me. Oh, actually, that's not true. No, that's not true. That's Paul, actually. I buy the most things, but he buys the most expensive things.
Okay.
So, yeah. But to be fair, it's knives and plates and house things and Lululemon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely more prone to buying random things for Coraline. And I would say I definitely buy more of the house things and decorative things. But I will give Nate credit. He's a very good gift giver. And so he is going to spend a lot more money on presents for me. And I just complain every year. I'm like, stop getting me presents because it just makes me look bad.
Oh, no.
I was going to say, that's a lot of pressure.
It is. It really is.
Although he was just talking about the awesome stamp that you got for him. He was just saying what a great present he got.
Every once in a while I come through, and sometimes I think I'm going to come through and it falls flat on its face, and that's really disappointing. And then sometimes the stamps, I was just like, well, obviously he's already thought of this, but I'll just do it for him. And then he really likes it. So I get lucky.
All right, let's kick it over to Paul or Nate and let you guys have some fun here because we've got a couple of I think we got a couple of fun questions. So you guys both know each other's husbands and you guys know each other. So Paul or Nate, who could put together an IKEA entertainment center faster?
Oh, geez. I'm just picturing this. That would be a great YouTube video.
It really would be.
Because if you told him that it was a competition, he would freak out. They're both super competitive, but I feel like Nate probably has the most experience doing that. But yeah, geez, I don't know. That's a tough one, but I think I'm going to have to go with Nate.
That's interesting because I also think it'd be a tough one. Nate is he's pretty detailed. He's gonna follow the instructions, and when I get in there, I just get irritated. I'm like, well, just put this in there and whatever. But I really think that if it were a competition, I feel like Paul would win it. So I'm gonna go with Paul.
He does have a architect mind, so he would definitely be super analytical about everything, but I don't know if he would study the directions. So he might get stuck and then waste time having to figure out what's going on.
All right, future YouTube video.
It's actually a really great idea for a YouTube video.
It would be great. And I just want to point out to all of our listeners that right before the wives got on, the boys were just talking about how they're not competitive with each other at all. So,
well, maybe not in, certain things, but
that's what they say. But I think all of us fans who have watched throughout the years, exactly. I think we all know differently. So here we go. We're talking about that competitive nature. Who do you think gets more intense while playing a board game?
Outwardly intense. It just jumps out to me that this would be Paul. What do you think, Hannah?
He's funny because when he gets really competitive, he gets really quiet, and that's how you know he's really trying to compete. Whereas I'm the opposite; I'll get louder. And I think Nate, that's just such a hard. They're so similar. It's so difficult. I think. I don't know. I think.
Well, here's my thought.
I don't know.
Here, I picture Paul getting real quiet and intense looking and really serious, and Nate would just keep making jokes. And do you remember that picture he took one time? They were playing like Ticket to Ride, and he made the train say Paul sucks, S-U-X, yes. And then took a picture of Paul with that in the foreground. That. I think he shared it on Instagram or something. But I feel like Nate would just like keep joking, and you wouldn't be able to tell that he was like really wanting to win this thing. But Paul, you'd look over at Paul and you'd be like, "Whoa, game on!"
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I could see Nate flipping a Monopoly board.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever see that with Paul.
Who spends more time on their phone, Paul or Nate?
Paul.
Yeah, it's got to be Paul. I mean,
every time I say Paul, he goes, "What?" Because he thinks I'm calling him.
You've got him conditioned well.
Did you tell him you're doing a podcast right now, that he should just chill?
Yeah, he knows, but he doesn't know like what the conditions are. So I think he just is being sincere every time, and he thinks I'm calling for him. But when I say his name, because usually I would say like babe, or I call him Bear. So when I say Paul, it's like serious. So he's poor guy. But so I would have to say Paul for sure. And well, Nate, I feel like it was always working on his phone. At least when we traveled together and everything, he was always doing something productive whenever he was on his phone. And then with Paul, he's always reading about the UFC, and then he'll read Ultiworld articles or on Facebook seeing what people are doing. And then he's on catching up on Twitter with like UFC stuff. And so a lot of his hobbies, he'll follow the people, like the fighters or athletes and stuff, or the teams online. So he spends a lot of time on his phone, but it's not like mindlessly scrolling. It's a lot of like reading and, digging into his hobbies. But yeah, a lot. I think he spends a lot more on it than Nate does, but
I agree. I feel like if you want to call it a benefit, Nate has Coraline, who gets you off your phone pretty well. But I just like to question, how did you confirm that he was working when you were traveling with him?
Because I sat behind him in the car.
Okay. All right. That's legitimate.
So either he was texting you, he was responding to fans online, or he was reading emails from like UC or something. And like, that was it.
Yeah.
Because I always sat in directions. So if I was looking around the truck, I would always like see, what everyone was doing. And so I had a bird's eye view, or I guess not a bird's eye view, but I had a pretty good shot of.
Yeah. I think it's a common thing where I get irritated because he's like, I'm working, and he's really good at responding to fans, and he's doing, work on his phone. But then like all of a sudden I look over and he's like reading the Blazers blog, and I'm like, wait a second. Like, when did this happen? How long have you been doing this? Get up and do some dishes. But no, he's not that bad.
Yeah, I think with him being with Coraline so much, I can tell because throughout the day we'll text an idea about a show or a sponsor thing, and I'll send him a message, and then I won't hear anything for 45 minutes, but then in 45 minutes I'll get 11 messages in a row. Bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, oh, okay, Coraline must have found something to do for a minute, and he was able to break away. So
That's
I
exactly
love
what's
how
happening.
I love how I knew what he was doing because I used to sit behind him in the car. That sounds so sketchy.
yeah, I wasn't going to call you out on that at all. So
It's all right. It's all right. I was
it's no,
just keeping tabs because Bree wasn't there, so I was like, hey, don't
Yeah, I
be
mean, I'm pretty sure
online
Hannah.
shopping.
I'm pretty sure
There-
Hannah and I
that's-
were in touch more than Nate and I. I just like, what is he doing? Who is he talking with? You need to let me know.
well, I think it's so awesome that you guys both had this disc golf connection to your relationships, right? I mean, Nate was caddying for you the first time he met Paul, and God, Hannah, I can remember you and Paul doing champs versus chumps, and just being a
no.
cute little couple holding hands, walking off to the next hole, and so it kind of neat. Now, we're going to get into we're going to talk a lot with the guys about how they first met and hear about their stories, but we've got the wives here for a specific reason. Now, Hannah and Bree, I'm going to ask you guys each to give us one fun fact about your husband that we may not know, something that the listeners might really get a kick out of. And I know I'm putting you on the spot. We didn't talk about any of this beforehand, but give me one fun Paul McBeth and Nate Sexton fact that they might not put out there on their own.
This is kind of on the spot, so I'm gonna give a couple just because as I was thinking. I have like two.
Perfect.
So one of the things that just came up the other day was that Paul actually knows sign language and took, I think, 2 years of ASL classes because when he was playing in Huntington, I think some of the disc golfers there were deaf, and so that was the only way that you could communicate with them. So him and his friend went out and learned that, which I think is really cool because there's actually a lot of deaf disc golfers out there. And so I thought when I met him, I thought that was really cool. And so a lot of people don't know that about him. I think on a nerdier level,
Yes. Give us the goods.
Oh no, don't hype it up. Don't hype it up. We were actually laughing about this today because we went to Starbucks this morning and got breakfast sandwiches for breakfast, and we both had to take our Invisalign out because we both have Invisalign right now. And I was like, oh, it's like we're two teenagers in love. And we're like going up. So that was, I guess, the other thing that's kind of funny that a lot of people don't know is that we both have Invisalign.
That's so cute.
Thank you. I don't know, fun facts. He's done so many interviews and so many different things. So I feel like there's not a lot that people don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. I just thought maybe if he still slept with his blankie from when he was a kid, or if he needs to keep a nightlight on, just something fun.
I mean, he snores really loud, and that
Yeah.
always makes me laugh because people don't really know that. But I don't know. Other than that, he's just like your average cool guy. So I'm sure I'll think of something, and then I won't be able to sleep tonight because I didn't say it.
That's okay. We're at Instagram running it with Nate Sexton, and you can just shoot it there. Our fans will catch it. What about you, Bree?
Man, Hannah gave me so long to think of something good.
You're welcome. That was I had your back there, low key. I was like, oh geez, what am I gonna say?
Yeah, well, and then I still sort of failed. Okay, I've thought of some little things. Let's see. So, I mean, people might sort of know this, that Nate overall is pretty goofy. In a
No way.
in a pretty
I'm just kidding.
in a very uncool dad joke-ish sort of way, where I have even recently some pretty good videos of him doing Frozen karaoke with this new karaoke microphone that we got Coraline for Christmas, and I'm just saving them on my phone for the appropriate moment to share them out with the world.
I already have so many ideas.
Yeah. So I mean, like, he puts out some of his goofiness, but like he hides a good deal of the true weird, embarrassing goof. And then, I mean, sort of along those lines, I guess my brain is just going to things that could maybe embarrass him a little bit, though he's not easily embarrassed. But I don't know if anyone has seen, I guess they probably have, but seen his his high school senior picture and the hair. And like Nate has the most volume of any person I've ever met.
It's like a helmet.
Yeah. Have you seen some of his high school senior pictures, Hannah?
No, I don't think I've had the pleasure.
Oh my goodness, you're missing out. Yeah, it's like his hair just grows like straight up. And then we'll do a little like loop-de-loo at the end. And when I met him, because we met in high school, he would walk around the halls of our high school just spinning an ultimate disc on his like middle finger, just in passing times in the hallway.
Wow.
Like that was
Excuse
Nate.
you. So
and
cute.
apparently that's when I fell in love with him. So,
Oh, I mean, yeah.
yeah, I
Of
mean, why
course.
wouldn't you?
Hey,
So,
girl.
yeah. He did get the like entire cross country team to join his like newly formed high school ultimate team, and like helped create the Oregon State like high school ultimate championships. And we crushed it because it was just him and a couple other guys who knew how to throw the ultimate disc, and then a couple state championship cross country teams just like sprinting down the field, and someone would like eventually catch it and we would win.
Well, that's awesome. I'm sure the boys are anxious to get back, but before I let them get back on, when they eventually make the movie, and it's a biography of Paul and Nate and their years in the RV, Hannah, who's playing Paul from Hollywood? And Bree, who's playing Nate?
Mario Lopez can play Paul.
Mario Lopez is like 53.
Have you seen him? He looks great.
I was always a Zach Morris guy, not an AC Slater guy. So you're barking up the wrong tree. But it's your husband and your movie, so Mario Lopez it is.
I mean, who do you want me to say? Shia LaBeouf?
No, Mario Lopez. He's in there as Paul McBeth. Bree, who's playing Nate Sexton?
Oh man, this is a really hard one for me because I'm really terrible at like remembering like famous people's names and who they are, and I think I would.
Yours is the easiest.
Well, so that's what I'm gonna go with, is that everyone just says he looks like Channing Tatum. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, good.
That's
I was
correct.
really afraid I was gonna say it wrong. Say someone real terrible. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with that just to avoid making a fool of myself. Yeah.
Mario Lopez and Channing Tatum, Magic Mike and AC Slater. Okay, got it. That'd be
great.
Yeah, I think that somebody in Hollywood needs to start getting the script going on that right now, and I can't wait to tell the guys all about this. Hannah, I'm gonna ask Paul to go ahead and plug all of your stuff, but you probably have a better understanding of all of it. Your YouTubes, where can everybody check out what you and Paul are doing?
So during the off season, Paul and I put out content on his YouTube channel. So it's youtube.com/Paul McBeth. And I have an Instagram, but I'm mostly active on Twitter. So you can follow me on Twitter, and I usually reply to just about everybody because it's way easier and you don't have to have the pressure of taking a photo and looking good and whatever. And so my Twitter is @HannahE.McBeth. I also have a podcast for FPO. That's pretty much FPO focused, just to like shed some light on that division. And that's on the Disc Golf Network, and it is called The Party Podcast with Hannah and Christine. So that's what I'm up to these days.
For all of our listeners, you guys know where you can check out Hannah and Paul. Hannah, thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us. And Bree, thank you. But we're gonna keep getting you back on because I think there's some more to get out of you here. So
yes,
this is Nate's podcast, Yes, absolutely. This is Nate's podcast, and we're gonna have to get you on and have you chat with us more than just this one spot. So keep
Oh
those.
my goodness. Well,
Hannah, don't you think she's a natural?
Yeah, when are you going to come on my podcast? It's
we'll
good.
see.
It's good. My podcast is called The Party for a reason. Just saying.
Well, we can talk about that time that I beat one person and now can use the I'm a disc golf world champion at all of my like various med school and residency interviews as my fun fact.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, Hannah, thank you so much for doing this, and I'm sure the fans are really going to enjoy being able to hear a little insight on these two guys that they love so much. They get the real scoop from the wives. So I certainly appreciate you doing this for us. And that was certainly a fun edition of what is typically You or Nate with Dr. Sexton and Mrs. McBeth rather than Nate and Paul. And I think the viewers, the listeners, are really going to enjoy that.
I'm kind of looking forward to hearing it myself because I was downstairs with Coraline. I didn't hear any of it. I don't know about you, Paul, but I have no idea what was discussed.
I was with Harrison, and the only thing I heard was Mario Lopez. So I'm on a cliffhanger.
Oh, you just wait.
Okay, cool. Well, I hope everybody enjoys it. I think by the look on Bree's face when she came out of the room, I feel like she had a good time.
She's a natural. I told her she's going to be back. So,
yeah, she can host next week. It's fine with me.
You know what? After some of the answers and some of the stuff she told, the fans may want her to.
Cool.
Oh boy.
Now, Nate, you were gracious enough to let all of the listeners and all of your Instagram followers know that we were going to have Paul McBeth on the show and that they could send their questions to the show page. And boy, did they ever. The questions just pounded the Instagram page, the Facebook page, the email. I apologize to the 7,000 questions that aren't going to get answered, but I did pick out a few that kind of stuck out. Some questions for Paul. You guys ready to do some fan questions?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Paul, what keeps you motivated to play or tour after all the incredible things you've already accomplished during your career? This comes from Chip on Instagram.
Chip. I think knowing that as far as an athlete, your career is not forever. So I want to accomplish as much as I can with the short window that I'm given on the athletic side. I mean, I have a lot of goals outside of just playing, but as far as staying motivated, just thinking this could be over in 10 years or less, I think is my biggest motivator.
I'm looking forward to it too, man, because you just turned 30. I did all my best work on this side of 30. So you got the meat of your career coming up.
Oh, yeah. And I was a late bloomer, too. So I know the best years are still to come.
Jarett from Buffalo wants to know, Paul, with you constantly getting that Michael Jordan comparison, being the Michael Jordan of disc golf, who's Nate Sexton?
Snuck in his
Nate
own question,
Sexton.
Jarett from Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, you caught that.
Nate Sexton. He's very unique. So are you asking who in the NBA?
Yeah, who would be his NBA? If you're Michael Jordan, Nate Sexton is.
Oh man,
It's obviously Rodman.
no. Man, I don't want to say someone like a Shaq or a Barkley, but like that's like what I'm getting is like.
That's what's coming to you. You got to go with your gut,
that's
man.
what's coming to me, man. I'm
That's all
thinking
right.
like a Shaq or a Barkley, maybe more so Barkley because I mean he had a great career. Unfortunately, I don't think Barkley ever won a title. He may have, but he had.
He
some
did
good
not.
Years.
I already
yeah.
got that out of the way.
Yeah, so Nate's already beat Barkley, but just everyone loves to watch what those two are doing. I mean, they're on the post game shows. They're not really playing as much, but you know, I think long term that'll probably be that's what's coming to me. Just entertainment, pure entertainment from those two.
Not that I'm here to toot our horn or anything, Nate, but your podcast did outperform Shaq's last week's in the ratings. I sent you the pictures of, so I'm just throwing it out there. Here's a
that
fun.
must be why I think both. I think he's Shaq and Barkley combined. So there we go. The titles and the comedy.
It's amazing. Here's a fun question for both of you guys. If you guys had to play a one disc round, putting with that disc as well, on a course that has holes ranging from 200 to 450, what are you grabbing? This comes from Steven.
Oh, Nate, you want to go first?
Sure.
Well, we know what Nate's grabbing.
Yeah, it's between two. It's either the Dart or the Firebird, but I feel like I probably would go Firebird just because I can't really throw that many forehands with a Dart, and I probably would like to, and also it could get me closer to having to look on that 450 hole if we get there. So I'll probably go with my my workhorse and take the Firebird.
Yeah, see, I'm a similar situation. It's between a Buzz or a Luna. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably just go with the Buzz because I could drive up shots, putt with it more comfortably than having to force a putter throughout the course. But yeah, right between those two.
You could get away with a little more forehand with a Buzz too, which might be nice.
That's true. Yep, that's actually what made me go Buzz is when you said that with the forehand on the Firebird.
Here's a fun fan question that I had to throw in. We heard last week Paul Ulibarri has himself in the top 5 sidearm or forehand, however you guys want to throw it, put it out there. Paul, which number is Paul Ulibarri in your top 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
This is Paul. Paul puts himself. I don't know if he's ever had this conversation with you, but he puts himself at 5th in for forehand throwers of all time.
I mean, you only gave me a top 5 option, so you didn't say I could go lower. So he has to be number 5.
Don't say
That's
that
where he is
because
on
now
his
he's going to
list.
say McBeth says he's number 5 all time. Now that's just in Yuli's tool bag of arguments. Now McBeth says I'm top 5.
Hold on, this drops 2021 January 1st. So I'm gonna talk to him, and we're gonna go play. I'm gonna drive down to Charlotte and go play him in an all forehand challenge.
Oh, he'd love it.
Do that. So January 1st, 2021.
God.
So we'll see. If I beat him, then where is he dropping to?
Well, Nate doesn't have him in his top 5. To be fair, I asked Nate. I said, "Is Paul in your top 5?" And he said no. But Paul, made his argument, and I think he sold me on the top 5 argument. But you don't have to have him in your top 5. Nate certainly doesn't.
If I was to actually think current, no, he's definitely not in the top 5. I can think of 5 people right now off the top of my head. But I mean, he always goes on his percentages.
So you have had the conversation.
There we go. You have had it.
But yeah, what is it?
And,
I mean, he tops out at like 350, 320 maybe.
Yeah, I think 350 is a stretch.
And it keeps going backwards. I mean, I think he's got a really good sidearm.
He does.
I think he's got a great sidearm, but top 5, no.
And then, Nate, you mentioned, all of the newer guys in the last few seasons that have hit the tour. And he goes, yeah, they don't count. You do it for 15 years and then come talk to me. So he's got every angle covered on that one. All right, now let's see here. I got so many questions and I'm going through. Okay, I would like to know how your relationship with Hannah has changed your approach to these tournaments. What are the benefits of having a significant other already heavily invested in the sport? Is it comforting or nerve-wracking when she's covering your card?
Well, Hannah and I are just friends. I don't think it's changed about what we've done. It's like I don't mind at all. If she's there, it's great. I'll say hi, smile, but it doesn't change anything for me.
Okay, how about you, Paul?
Oh man, she doesn't like doing it. To be honest, I don't mind, but I know that she doesn't like doing it, so it is a little bit awkward when I have to do interviews and stuff with her, because that's her one request is like, as long as I don't have to interview my husband, I'm fine with it. But yeah, those are a little bit awkward. I don't mind if she's doing commentary or anything like that. But as far as traveling, I think every year it changes for her, because she gets these different. I mean, for me, it's just like I got to play this tournament and I want to go win the tournament. Her thing is she's always trying to find something new to do in the sport. So now it's media. So it's just like, now if she works with the Disc Golf Pro Tour, they have they're talking about having their new headquarters in Milwaukee. So it's like, is she going to fly to Milwaukee every week? Is she going to stay low? So I don't know. but I mean, I think for me, I thrive under being uncomfortable. I think that's what really helps me is I thrive in uncomfortable situations. So I'm kind of comfortable in uncomfortable situations. So keeps me on my toes traveling with her because you never know what's next on the media side. So I'm always just kind of, all right, we'll do that, we'll do this. I only have one job and one goal, so let's handle what you want to handle.
And she's got a podcast too, right? Did you plug that already, Jarett? When we were going?
Oh yeah, I asked her to plug everything, and she did. The party. In fact, she invited Bree on. Bree said that she's been nervous for the last 4 hours just to do this show, and Hannah said it's called the Party Podcast for a reason.
Nice.
So, Kyle from Instagram asked, Nate, what do you think Paul's biggest strength is on the course? And Paul, what do you think Nate's biggest strength is on the course?
Man, let's see. Paul's biggest strength on the course. It's a long list. I would say, I would almost say mental toughness. Even despite all the physical skills and being able to throw all the shots, I think it's you get the reputation being clutch for a reason, and you win the big tournaments over and over and over again by being able to lean on that and persevere. Even after you take a 7 or whatever you took at the 2014 Worlds coming down the stretch, and then just go on a tear and be able to still come back and just never count them out. I feel like mental toughness is probably what I would say his number one strength is.
I'll take that. For Nate, I mean, as far as the skill side, I think it's definitely the forehand. It's top 5, I think, all time. I think, yeah, I would say it's top 5 all time because he just does things with that forehand that nobody. I mean, he throws an orc forehand. Nobody does that. So he, and the dart and all that stuff. But I think that as far as the skill side and mental toughness as well. I mean, Nate's not one that's going to dwell over, an errant shot. It's very rare that I see Nate get actually mad on the course, and it takes like 4 bad things in a row to happen. So I think that is definitely something that's one of Nate's strengths is the mental toughness, just being really smart on the course, and then skill side is definitely the forehand. Backhand, he's been working on that for years, so it's coming together.
There we go.
Almost there. Coming from Tim on Instagram, Tim asks, Paul, what was it like the first year with Discraft as you were out there playing these tournaments with new discs and not having the discs that you were so used to constantly going to, like the Rock or the AVR? And how long did it take until you were fully comfortable with your new lineup?
Well, I think I was fully comfortable immediately with the discs. I'd go out and throw them all, and I'd think, okay, this flies like that flies like this. But what would happen is I would go to a tournament that I was familiar with, and I'd be like, all right, this hole I normally throw a hyzer flip rock. I'm going to throw my buzz hyzer flip. But the discs that's not the same disc. So I'd go to throw a hyzer flip buzz, and buzzes don't hyzer flip. So it just keep hyzering. And I was making mistakes to where I knew how these discs flew, but I would get to the course and go back to previous years on how I used to play this course. So I was prepared for what I used to throw. So it took me a couple tournaments to figure out, like, this is a buzz, flies nothing like a rock, so throw it like a buzz. So I had to, like, completely forget about everything I did on all these courses from the previous 12 years and just throw what I felt like was the right disc on those holes. So no time for comfort, a couple tournaments to just mentally be like, I need to forget about everything I used to do as far as shot selections.
Well, it's worked out for you, I would say. All right, so I've had this question come up from like 10 different people, so I don't want to give any one person credit for it. Paul, tell us about the conversation when you had to tell Innova that you guys smashed up the RV.
Wait, we smashed up the RV?
the awning situation we're talking about.
Say that again?
When the awning got ripped off. We told that story last week.
Oh, the awning. Okay. Well, I forgot about that. I was thinking of all the other times.
There was a couple other
crashed it.
times.
I mean, I remember Nate stuck it in a ditch once.
I remember before I stuck it in the ditch, I remember Hannah jokingly jumping in the driver's seat. But mostly just me and Paul did the driving when it was like the 40-foot trailer back there. And I remember saying, Hannah, you're drunk. Not that she was. I was totally joking. Hannah, you're drunk. Get out of there. And then I crashed it in like 30 seconds from that moment of saying like, move over. And then I like took it too tight of a turn and put it in the ditch. And luckily it had those power jacks, so we got out of it. But that's when I really remember being like, hey, Paul, explain to me again how this is insured and am I on the policy and what would happen if? Because that was sort of a sobering moment for me where I was like, I don't have enough money to replace this thing. And I am capable of crashing it. So I'd better kind of figure out, in worst case scenario, what's happening here.
Yeah, we I think after the first like 3 accidents in there, like not car accidents, but just like dumb little things, hitting curbs, breaking cupboards. I think we turned it into the trial and error tour because we just tended to try everything and break everything. And I think after the first year and a half, we finally figured it out. But luckily, insurance on fifth wheel trailers is like $7 a month because there's no motor. So it was there was no conversations with Innova because I owned it. So it was okay. It was good to go.
Okay, cool. Is that the same one that was that you guys were in for the Santa Cruzmas, the starter set Christmas?
That video was filmed in the Discmania RV though, like the watermelon, all that watermelon stuff.
Yeah, but we started it.
Oh yeah, but we started. Yeah, totally. Where I'm like, hey, it's Santa Cruzmas. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that was us emerging from our bedrooms.
Yeah.
Amazing acting in that.
Oh, thank you. That wasn't acting. That was actually Santa Cruzmas.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Well, I think we had a wonderful time, Paul. I know that you're super busy, and I certainly appreciate you coming on and giving us this opportunity. And you and Nate go way back, so you had to do it for him. But I certainly appreciate it, and it was absolutely awesome. Paul, this is the part where we let everybody plug their stuff. Hannah plugged your YouTube page already. Is there anything else going on with Foundation or anything else that you got that you can plug?
I think she nailed it. I want to get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think it's an off-season goal of mine. Just because there's no tournament, and who knows what 2021 has in store for us now that we're in the new year. But there's I got a lot of fun things on my plate right now. So there'll be some good things dropping in 2021 from my side. So yeah, that's all I got for now. But I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, people can always go over to the Foundation Disc Golf site. You have shirts and discs and stuff like that available. In fact, one of our sponsors who's helped us out here on the show, Disc Dot, you guys sell those over on the Foundation page. Have you ever actually used the Disc Dot, the putting tool?
So Foundation First is we're a disc golf store out of Lynchburg, Virginia, mainly online retail. And with COVID, we're unfortunately sold out of so many things, but we do have disc dots. Yes, we have in the shop. We have a couple baskets, and we have the disc dot, and then we have they get bored sometimes and just cover a whole basket in disc dots. So I haven't used them in an actual practice setting, but I have used them in the pro shop, and I think they like having the glow in the dark ones on there for when they're coming in the mornings.
Sounds like a fun place to be. Well, hey, Paul, thank you so much, and I will let you and Nate say your goodbyes. And again, I really appreciate you doing this for us and for the listeners.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. And it was good talking to you, Nate. Hopefully, see you next year out on the tour whenever it starts back up.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was great to talk to you. Happy holidays, and I'm hoping we'll see you soon.
See you guys.
See you, Paul. Thank you. Well, Nate, you certainly delivered another holiday gift for everybody by having Paul McBeth on the show. How much fun was that with him? And of course, you haven't even heard Bree and Hannah yet. That was something that was also a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this week's episode.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be first in line on Friday morning to listen to this. I got to know what the wives said about us.
It wasn't too bad, but it was certainly fun. And a special reminder for all of our listeners, you can head over to FisherDiscGolf.com and check out their 18 different brands of discs. One of the owners over at Fisher, Levi, gave some fun information. But again, FisherDiscGolf.com and Disc.USA.com, two of our sponsors that have really helped us out here. And again, our show comes to you guys for free because of our sponsors. So check them out, Disc.USA.com, FisherDiscGolf.com. And Nate, how can they save themselves a little extra money?
You got to use our code RUNIT10.
That's right, guys. Code RUNIT10 on Disc.USA and Fisher Disc Golf both will get you 10% off. And until next week, guys, when everyone else is out there laying them up,
We got to run it. We just have to.
how can we not? We'll talk to you guys next week.